The fake fat trap. Nothing makes a grown adult more delusional than poking their own stomach and inventing excuses on the spot. I would stand sideways in the mirror, suck in my gut until my vision blurred, and swear it was just water weight from a salty taco. I treated my expanding waistline like a jammed office printer. Just smack it, yell a little, and pray it fixes itself. But when you hit a certain age, no amount of miserable floor crunches will chisel out abs from a keg. This specific belly is not actually regular fat. If your stomach feels hard and tight like an overinflated basketball, you are not dealing with a simple weight problem. You are dealing with sick organs. Visceral fat is completely different from normal arm jiggle. It wraps tightly around your liver, your heart, and your intestines. It acts like a toxic factory, pumping poison directly into your bloodstream. You cannot sweat this off on a treadmill. When you try to burn visceral fat like normal tissue, your body fights back. This hidden mass survives by stealing your daily energy and making you constantly hungry. It is a rogue survival mechanism. To shrink it, you have to attack the biological root cause. But before you can destroy it, you must uncover what your body is secretly sacrificing just to keep you upright. The cortisol battery drain. There is a special kind of delusion that happens at 5 a.m. when a grown man is doing burpees in a dark parking lot. I used to drag my exhausted body to a boot camp class, screaming internally while a guy named Chad yelled at me to push harder. The reality is your body doesn't care about your effort. It only cares about survival. When you are already drowning in daily stress from your boss, your mortgage, and rush hour traffic, your cortisol is completely maxed out. Cortisol is your emergency survival hormone. When you throw high-intensity exercise on top of an already stressed system, your brain panics. It ignores your stored belly fat and goes straight for your muscle tissue. It breaks down the protein in your legs and glutes, turns it into sugar, and dumps it into your blood for instant fuel. This massive sugar spike forces your pancreas to pump out insulin. Insulin takes all that newly created sugar and packs it tightly into the exact spot you are trying to shrink, your visceral cavity. You are literally dissolving your own muscles just to build a stress apron. But burning up your legs isn't the only thing locking that belly fat in place. There is a completely normal, everyday habit secretly poisoning your hormones every time you eat. The plastic sponge. My kitchen cabinet has enough stained, mismatched Tupperware to qualify as an environmental crime scene. I thought I was being a responsible, thrifty adult by hoarding plastic containers from 2014 and microwaving my leftovers in them every single day. I felt so practical. In reality, I was basically marinating my meatloaf in pure liquid belly fat. Look at your stomach right now. Is it a hard drum or a squishy pouch? Tell me in the comments, because treating the wrong shape guarantees the fat will never leave. Your squishy lower belly is a chemical sponge. We live in a world flooded with synthetic endocrine disruptors called xenoestrogens. When you drink from a warm plastic water bottle or heat your dinner in old plastic, you swallow these invisible chemicals. They sneak into the bloodstream and perfectly mimic estrogen. As this toxic estrogen rises, your body panics. It builds a thick layer of fat around your waistline, using it as a biological storage locker to keep the garbage away from your vital organs. Men and women over 40 get hit the hardest because natural hormone production slows down. These plastics hijack your system, creating a brutal cycle where more fat creates more estrogen, and more estrogen demands more fat. But even if you throw away every piece of plastic you own, your belly will stay locked if your brain is constantly running on a massive hidden deficit. The sleep deficit tax. You know you're older when one bad night of sleep ruins your entire personality. I used to survive on 4 hours and cheap energy drinks. Now, a short night makes me a confused zombie aggressively craving a bagel at 2 p.m. This belly fat didn't happen overnight. It was a slow-motion snowball. First, my sleep got sloppy, then the cravings got loud, and suddenly my waistline changed zip codes without telling me. This is a biological tax for staying awake. When exhaustion drags on for days, your brain registers the fatigue as a physical threat. To keep you upright, it floods your system with emergency cortisol, which completely shatters your blood sugar balance. The Mayo Clinic proved exactly how this works in a clinical trial. When adults cut their sleep, their bodies didn't just casually gain weight. They specifically redirected new fat straight into the visceral cavity deep inside the belly. In just a few weeks, that dangerous internal fat grew by 11%. You cannot diet your way out of a sleep deficit, but even if you sleep like a baby, One specific ingredient hiding in your healthy breakfast can completely destroy your liver before noon: the fructose smokescreen. I've eaten enough fake healthy breakfast to qualify for a class action lawsuit. 3 morning beers before 9 a.m. That is what a glass of fresh orange juice is doing to your liver. The granola on top just makes it worse. Not all sugar is processed the same way, and as we age, our organs lose the ability to handle the heavy hitters. High fructose corn syrup and concentrated fruit juice is the absolute worst offender. When you eat normal carbs like rice or potatoes, your entire body shares the load to break it down. Fructose bypasses your muscles and slams directly into your liver. When an aging liver is suddenly hit with a massive dose of liquid fructose, it panics and converts that sugar directly into fat. This process is called lipogenesis. It is the exact same pathway that destroys the livers of hardcore alcoholics. Fructose damages your liver's mitochondria, completely breaking its ability to burn fat, forcing it to store it instead. It packs this fat tightly around your organs, building that hard, protruding, drum-like belly. But stopping the morning juice won't shrink a single inch if your body's main storage hormone is constantly locked in the on position. The insulin lockpick. At some point, my stomach started acting like a nervous grandmother who thinks I need a snack every 90 minutes. A handful of almonds here, a protein bar there to keep the furnace burning. My body was secretly betraying me, locking every calorie away for a winter that never came. I was treating my belly like a locked freezer, stuffing more inside all day, then acting shocked when the shelves never emptied. If you are over 40 and cannot lose your belly, you are likely dealing with locked fat cells. The key to that lock is insulin. Every time you eat, even a healthy snack, your pancreas releases insulin to process the energy. Insulin is a storage hormone. When insulin is circulating in your blood, it is biologically impossible for your body to burn stored fat. By grazing all day, you keep your insulin constantly elevated, forcing your dangerous visceral fat deep inside the belly to stay trapped. Intermittent fasting is not a fad, it is a surgical tool. When you stop eating for 14 to 16 hours, your blood sugar finally drops and your pancreas takes a vacation. This creates a baseline drop in insulin, unlocking the freezer door. Once that door is open, your body has no choice but to eat its own visceral fat just to keep you alive. But unlocking the freezer won't matter if your daily workouts are secretly freezing it shut again. The slow walk miracle. The most effective fat loss move after 40 is so boring it actively offends fitness people. No aggressive boot camps, no puking in a trash can. The fix is just walking at a painfully slow pace for 45 minutes. My knees officially filed a formal complaint the last time I tried jogging, but we are brainwashed into believing that if a workout doesn't destroy you, it doesn't count. When it comes to shrinking a stubborn stress belly, destroying yourself is the worst possible strategy. High-intensity exercise is great for a 20-year-old, but for someone over 40 already drowning in cortisol from life, sprinting is like throwing gasoline on a raging fire. Your body cannot tell the difference between a brutal treadmill session and running from a literal bear. It spikes your stress hormones through the roof. To actually lose deep belly fat, you have to convince your nervous system that you are completely safe. This is where the anti-cortisol walk changes everything. Long, slow, low-intensity movement burns fat without triggering the alarm system. It actively lowers daily cortisol. When the brain finally feels secure, it stops hoarding emergency energy and releases the fat. But once the alarm shuts off, the real repair has to begin. Because movement alone will never save a liver already choked with scar tissue. The nutrient cheat codes. My supplement cabinet used to look like evidence from a police raid. I hoarded useless fat burners that smelled like battery acid and gave me the resting heart rate of a terrified chihuahua. We waste thousands on synthetic junk promising a flat stomach overnight. But your organs don't want magic dust. They need a biological plunger. When your liver is congested, your bile turns into thick sludge. You cannot diet your way out of sludge. You need TUDCA, a specific bile salt that thins it out, allowing your liver to flush toxins instead of trapping them. Pair that with full-spectrum vitamin E, specifically tocotrienols. These act like tiny fire extinguishers, halting the scar tissue inflaming your belly. For the hormonal shield, you need DIM, a concentrated compound derived from broccoli. It acts like a traffic cop for toxic estrogen, forcing it out of your body entirely. To stop the cortisol cycle, ashwagandha and magnesium glycinate lower stress hormones so your body can finally sleep deeply enough to burn fat. Clinical studies show you need to give these tools 6 to 8 weeks to actually clean the pipes. These are not weight loss gimmicks. They are targeted compounds that clean the filter, patch the leaks, and shut down the rogue fat factory for good. If this breakdown helped you finally understand your stubborn belly fat, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss our next science-backed protocol. Shrinking a broken metabolism takes time, but you now have the exact biological blueprint to fix it. Drop a comment below and tell me right now, are you dealing with the hard drum, the squishy pouch, or the stress apron?